It's a little strange to see that Ted is not interested whatsoever in his food, so he must be more inclined to take a nap. Well, there's a big sneeze from Ted. Haven't heard one of those in a while. It startled me a little bit. Uh, but he's not interested in his food, so he'd rather take a nap at the moment. We just did get some sunny weather over the past hours, starting to make things heat up, but still a nice, cool temperature for the Bears. We've been very fortunate that the past construction of the pond was going on, that we've had cool weather for the most part. There's a few days that were full sun and maybe got into the 70s. Those are obviously a little harder on the Bears on those days, but for the most part, we've been blessed with some pretty cool weather, which definitely benefits us, because if it was really, really hot at the moment, the Bears would be even more irritable. But they've all kind of adapted and gotten used to it. Ted obviously used to being in his private enclosure. His private enclosure is much larger than the rest, simply because he is semi-retired. Ted kind of dictates his own schedule. So right now he's letting us know that he doesn't want to eat, he wants to nap. So we don't force any of the Bears to do anything here. Not that we could if we wanted to, but this is a great example of Ted not cooperating. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. It was out in the main enclosure when the pond finished and everything. If we want to get back here, he can very well have to come back. That's really up to him. So him specifically does dictate his own schedule. He lets us know when to come out, wants to stay in. He usually, but he'll let us know by waiting on the far left side of his enclosure. There's a little sliding gate. If we come out here in the morning for our daily routine, and Ted, that signifies to us that Ted wants to come out for his morning stroll. If he isn't sitting there, he's usually content on staying in his enclosure. Since he stays in his enclosure more than the rest of the Bears have at least double, he looks to be a little more than double the size of the other Bears' private enclosures, but Ted is fond of his own private enclosure. And then additionally, if the other Bears do not want to come in, we can't really force either. They don't want to come in. The thing we have over them is that their enclosures, and they know that they can expect breakfast and dinner in those places, and they will usually, typically, meals, but sometimes we've had Bears where, like Lucky, for example, or Holly just doesn't want to come back, and they end up spending 3 days or more in the main enclosure, and we're not able to let out our other Bears during that time because it would cause issues. So, along with Ted here, they haven't really had any kind of action between them and we don't plan on letting them in soon. 10 years older, like a bit arthritic as well, so it doesn't bode well for a bear fight. For that reason, for his health and everything, both bears, we keep them separate. But it is mostly not friendly. Ted back and forth with some interesting grunts and make some other sounds that lets us know that Ted himself is pretty uncomfortable and wants Lucky to get away, but Lucky does enjoy antagonizing him through the fence. Tasha is going to town on her food still, so she is much enjoying her meal, unlike Ted. As I mentioned, Ted is just more inclined to take a nap right now, and I can hear him breathing heavy, and I can see his stomach going up and down, and yeah, he's just having a nice little nap. That's one of Ted's favorite pastimes, is napping, along with eating. Those are probably his top two. His third being visiting with guests. So Ted is a very people-oriented bear. He really, really likes all the visitors that he gets to see on a daily basis, but he specifically likes the little children. And we did have a few younger ones in today, and I saw Ted's excitement. You can actually tell the difference if we have a large group of little ones in here versus, maybe one in a group of adults. Ted acts completely. He is very fond of those little people, and he's really excited. He just acts just a little different, and it's pretty cool to see that he kind of can attach and be fonder of a smaller person over an adult. So it's really cool that he does that, and the kids sure do enjoy it as well. But he must have seen a lot of kids today because he is very tired. Usually he's not sleeping at this point in the day, so he just must have been doing a lot of work today. Now I can see we had the USDA in here today, and we actually had Sharon go with the USDA official and bring them through the center and check out all the bears and everything, make sure everything was ship-shape. And Ted got a paw inspection because in past years we've had some issues back there and had to apply cream and whatnot. Now Sharon has gotten him off the cream, and he has some really, really nice pads now. I don't know if the camera can quite see it, but one of his front paws is flipped up. That's the one we were actually examining, and yeah, they look very nice, especially in comparison to what they have been in the past. So his pads are looking great. That's a really good improvement for Ted. One day in the past where we got a humid day, he consider so it's nice to see that on the past week he hasn't been using his elbows. He's been using his feet. They're feeling A-okay, at least enough for him to move around. It's just like any of you humans listening that do have arthritis, you know that some days are better than others. Weather does have somewhat of an effect on those things, and is no exception to. So he has in other days, and the weather is definitely a factor in whether or not it's going to be a good day or not. But Ted he doesn't seeing you matter if it's a humid day or a regular day for him. He likes seeing the visitors. One other thing that Ted really enjoys is before he comes back from his morning stroll, he'll usually stop at one of his favorite logs or rocks. We appropriately name them his preaching log and or rock because he'll sit with his paws up there, almost like he's at a podium in front of a congregation of church and a sermon. Kind of he poses and he just kind of basks in the glory of all the visitors that think he is just the most awesome black bear that they have ever seen. So Ted's kind of our bread and butter here. He's often considered a lot of our guests' favorite, and it's not hard to see why. He's a big, loving bear, and he's very people-oriented, so he's very affectionate as well. And guests here at the center to get attached to Ted because he is adorable, lovable. Looks like Tasha has since finished, but she was going for a back scratch and nobody jumped up to the occasion, so she wandered off to the back of the enclosure where she's been kind of hanging out today. She's moved her water bowl back there, and those of you who've been online, you may have seen her sitting, but she's been up to lately for the past few weeks. Plop her back in right in there. It fits very snugly in there. She usually tips the water out first, and then she'll roll around in it. And it's almost like she's on a tilt-the-world or something, like a kind of ride like that. And then today, she additionally, not only was she sitting in the water bowl, she was also playing with the stick, and a couple of people noticed that it looked like she was almost playing it like a fiddle. So she has been very, very cute with her antics lately, and it's very, very rare now to come out here and not see her playing in that water dish. So she has a really good time with her bowls. She does chew on them a little more than we'd like, and they're starting to break a little bit, but that's no worry. We got some new bowls in there, so Tasha not only has a water bowl, but she has as well, so she can drink from either. The bears don't care like me and you. We typically don't tend to drink our own bath water. It's kind of gross if you think about it, but the bears, they don't care, so they will go ahead and drink their own bath water, and it's just as good to them as the regular water bowl. And see, Tasha kind of switches. She doesn't really use her bath to sit in. She uses her water bowl to sit in, so maybe that's just what she decided. She wanted the bigger water bowl in a smaller tub that she fits more snugly in. We also noticed that Holly had slowed down quite a bit today, which was great to see. She's probably been the most frantic during this construction period, and she was taking food today and eating all kinds of different foods, and she was just going at a nice slow pace, wasn't really pacing earlier in the day, which was nice to see because it does worry us when she does things like that, and we know the bears are a little antsy to get out on the pond, and we are almost just as antsy to get that construction project done. So seeing the way they react and the fact that they're getting used to being in the pens is nice, that they are adapting to that, but it's going to be an awesome time when we can finally get them out in the pond. And speaking of the pond, if you may have noticed, if you've been on the pond camera, the crew hasn't been there in maybe the past day or two. They're waiting on some equipment. So they have to do some additional work that they didn't plan to in the beginning for some safety concerns for the bears. So waiting on some new equipment ordering, and once that gets up here, they'll be ready to go. And then after that, I'm pretty sure the next step is to fill it. Not positive, but I'm I just have a couple final things. You can on the pond camper yourself and see that it's all cemented. It is holding a little bit of water, at least it was yesterday. Not sure if that maybe evaporated or got pumped out already, but it was holding a tiny bit of water. So we know that they did it. They got us a better pond because our last one didn't hold water, so we know up to snuff already. But there's a few safety concerns, as I mentioned. We make sure that the bears are safe and they can enjoy it to the full. In order to do that, we have to do a couple extra steps. So we're waiting for things to be completed. So we're going to go right back to Ted now. Ted's still in his nap mode, but some of the other have taken a life of his food. So right now, if you look at his food bowl, there is a red squirrel poised right at the lip, and he's stealing Ted's food. So if Ted doesn't wake up soon, that squirrel will probably eat most of it. That's all right. Ted will probably get filled with tuna and his veggies. The squirrels and the chipmunks typically prefer the nut items in there. So they'll probably get all of those, maybe some of that dog kibble. But they typically leave the fruits and the tuna and the vegetables. So Ted will be able to eat those whenever he feels like it, and then he'll also get his breakfast tomorrow morning. Looks like all the bears have finished their dinner. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. We're going to let Ted continue. I just want to thank everybody online for tuning in. I tried really hard this time to not talk very fast, so I hope I did a good job. And I just want to remind everyone here at the Bear Center, if you haven't been to the Wolf Center, if you do go today or tomorrow, your wristband that you were here at the Bear Center or your stick, whatever you got when you came in, you'll save $1 off in admission. So make sure you let them know you were here, and you can prove it, wristband or sticker. They teach you about wolves in the same way we teach you about bears. So they have an awesome facility. They just redid a good portion of the interpretive center, and it is phenomenally redone. So it looks really good in there. Looks actually really, there's tons of smaller child attractions, and they are very, very, very fun, even for somebody like myself. I had a really good time when I was there last. So all those of you here, go ahead and check them out if you have the time. And then also I just want to plug our TripAdvisor page quick. We're really working hard this year on getting our TripAdvisor ratings up there. We're currently the number 2 thing to do in Ely. We want to make it to number 1. So if you could log on to TripAdvisor, review, tell us what we're good, tell us what we can do on. We really appreciate that. And with that, I'm going to sign off. So our next podcast will be at 12:30 tomorrow, and we will be then.